Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Mr. Always Good here again. Thank you for tuning in. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring your bell for notifications. We're talking about today being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Again, I'm your host, Mr. Always Good, and I only have one question. We're back again, talking about something that I'm sure a lot of you don't really want to talk about today. And that is being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking to yourself right now and want to ask me, Mr. Always Good, how can you be comfortable with being uncomfortable? Well, it's not that you're ever actually comfortable with being uncomfortable. What it means is that you're comfortable knowing that there's a learning opportunity from this uncomfortable situation that I'm in. And the more I put myself in those uncomfortable situations, the more learning I get, the bigger this brain gets. What we're talking about, guys, is how to expand that knowledge base. Add more tools into that toolbox. And the more often you put yourself in uncomfortable situations that you can succeed in, the more confident you become in those moments. In fact, I've got a great 3-minute video for you to watch that'll show you how I help put myself in uncomfortable situations. We'll be back after this. All right. Sorry everybody. In case we ever need a flag, right there. Got one on the lapel too. Thank you, everybody. I know it's my icebreaker, and I appreciate you all allowing me to join and be here today for you.
Show us your socks again.
So, you know, Zig Ziglar had a quote once that I heard. He said, if you have to eat a frog, you might not want to stare at it for too long. I have no idea why that made so much of an impression on me, but it did. And really, I think more about courage when it comes to that. And really, when I think of courage, that's my grandmother. I mean, she spoke 42 different languages: French, English, Arabic, Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, Cantonese, and Mandarin. She spoke Swahili. She even spoke old dead languages, right? Latin. She spoke Aramaic. She could even read cuneiform. It was amazing. And she was the oldest woman to ever climb Mount Everest that could speak 42 different languages. I mean, come on, how awesome is that? You know, and you get retrospective when you think about your grandparents and the things that they have taught you. And really, what I learned from her was that you had to have the courage to try. That if you weren't willing to put yourself in awkward situations, it was probably going to be hard, right? And so, same thing that Henry Ford said was, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're probably right. So the courage to try really is having that courage to just start, to do something, and not just sit around and do nothing. And Winston Churchill said, so you have some enemies. Great. That means you stood up for something at least once in your life. Yeah. And, I mean, how much better does it get than Ben Franklin saying, beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. I mean, come on. That's awesome. You know, but really, in the end, as an icebreaker, I'm sure you're all wondering why I've done nothing but talk about retrospectiveness, talking about my grandmother and climbing Mount Everest instead of me, which is what this is all supposed to be about. Well, it's because who I am is really parts of the other people that have touched my life and the lives I've touched. Right? All of us is a small part of everybody that we've ever met, every decision we've ever made, every mistake that's come from it, and the learnings that we've gotten from that. So I hope, and I'm pretty sure I am in a room with a whole bunch of people that are here to give it a try. Put themselves in those uncomfortable positions, like a lot of us have been in this evening. And I know one thing for sure, and that is that we're all going to keep being in uncomfortable positions. At least we better be. Thank you. Hey everybody, I'm sure you all loved that video and loved laughing at me in certain moments of that video, and that was a very uncomfortable situation for me. Now what that was me giving my icebreaker. However, it turned out to be a backwards meeting for Toastmasters, which meant everything that was in that speech in regards to my mannerisms, my lack of grammar in the beginning, and even the story about my grandmother climbing Mount Everest was made up. Tying my shoe at the beginning of that one was made up. They told me I had to do these things. I had 5 minutes to write that speech. It was uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. But the best part is now I know I can wing a few things. There's no better way to find out if you can than by doing it. And that's where being comfortable with being uncomfortable really fits into place. Put yourself in a situation that you don't know if you can achieve. Push harder than you ever thought you could and learn from whatever the outcome is. And in the end, you'll be better for it. I know you found some tools today that'll help you navigate success, improve your sales skills, and find your next best. I'm your host, Mr. Always Good. I'm always good.